Hello and welcome to another manga spotlight. This is Sensitive Boy, a series that I've wanted to do a spotlight for a while now, but I've kind of put it off just because I'm trying to think about how I can actually review this and watch out for YouTube's censorship. As you can probably see from those tags and from the title of this video, as well as that little premise there. Yeah, this is about a high school boy who is trying to get back into the dating scene after being attacked in a sexual way. Let's try to phrase it like that. Think grapefruit, but drop the G and drop the fruit, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So this is a series by 46, which is a interesting name for a mangaka. So the basic premise is Kaede, a victim of past abuse, is obsessed with becoming normal. A bittersweet story about a boy facing coming-of-age questions about love, sexuality, complexes, and other troubles. So yeah, our main character is Kaede, and we actually start off with a flashback where we come across the aftermath of what happened to him. And we start getting more and more pieces put together as the story goes along. But basically the gist is that there was a female teacher who took an interest to Kaede and earned his trust and then attacked him in that particular way. And because of that, he is obviously traumatized. His two friends come across the aftermath of this attack. And we don't really know what happens to the teacher, but Kaede ends up transferring to a new school where all the students and all the faculty members are men. So it's an all men's only school. And his two friends join with him. His two friends are awesome. His two friends are Izumi and Asahi, and the two of them are like the total bros that anyone would want, especially in a situation that Kaede has faced himself with. Like they are like ride or die kind of bros. And yeah, Kaede just kind of sinks into himself a bit, tries to kind of put away relationships and stuff. But one day he starts thinking maybe it's time for me to get back into the dating scene. Like maybe it's time for me to try to become normal again. He kind of gets this push when he is at a convenience store and he buys a drink, and the clerk, who is a female, touches his hand to give him his change back. And this is something that, like before, he would completely like freak out. He doesn't like when women touch him at all. And he's kind of just like, okay, someone touched me and I didn't freak out. Maybe I'm normal now. Maybe I'm better. Maybe I should just completely get back into the dating scene again. And so he becomes obsessed with dating because to him, dating is what normal people do. So if he's able to date, then he will become normal. He becomes obsessed in a unnatural way where basically he's just looking up girls on Instagram, like any girl that kind of smiles at him. He's thinking, oh, maybe I should ask them out. And his friends would try to like tell him like, hey, dude, like you don't got to rush into this. We know what happens. We know you would like to get over that, but this is like a huge thing that happened to you. Don't just jump headfirst into dating. Take your time, make sure you pick someone who's right for you. Don't just jump right into whoever's the first girl that gives you any kind of attention, because that's not going to help you. But one day he is walking with his friends and he bumps into this girl, and their bags kind of get tangled for a bit. And she ends up ruining like this little pendant that he had attached to his bag. And she starts apologizing. He's like, don't worry about it. And he leaves. And Kaede's like normal at first. And then after he takes a couple of steps, he just starts freaking out. He's like, oh my God, that was so nerve wracking. I can't believe I got through that situation. And this is like something that I completely sympathize with. For anyone who doesn't know, I suffer from anxiety. I have multiple anxiety disorders, and just normal things are super tough for me to do. So I completely relate to Kaede on this level, where just simple interactions can be just nerve-wracking and just, oh my God, like it's like a battle that never ends. But the next day he goes to school. He's leaving school with his friends when he sees the same girl. And it turns out that her name is Tsubasa, and she was actually looking for him. She recognized his school uniform and she decided to wait at this gate to see if this was the school that he went to. And of course, it is. And she basically says, can I talk to you in private? I want to be honest with you. Like, after I saw you yesterday and just the way you interacted with me and stuff, it was love at first sight. I want us to get to know each other. And, if you're still not interested, then I'll give up. But if you are, like, maybe we can be friends and eventually we can become more. Here's my number. If it's too much of a bother, you can go ahead and throw it away. If not, then please contact me. And that's when this boy bumps into her from behind by accident and pushes her into him. And as she's falling into him, he gets a flashback of the teacher coming onto him physically. And she falls on him and he just like freaks out. He kind of curls up into the fetal position. He starts basically crying almost. And his friends come in for the save and say, like, hey, don't worry about this. Everything's fine. Could you maybe leave? Because I don't think he wants you to see him after that pathetic fall. Like, he doesn't want to. Basically, they're trying to get her to leave without having to tell her what happened to him because it's not their story to tell. It's for him to tell whoever he feels comfortable telling the story to. And yeah, she leaves, and that's when he's just curling into a fetal position, crying, saying, please stop, I'm sorry. And so they decide to take him to a park where they try to like talk him down from his anxiety attack. And he just kind of explains that, I have trouble with people touching me, especially like women. And earlier in the week, I had a female clerk like touch my hand and there was no problem. So I thought everything was all right now. But as soon as Tsubasa was pushed into me by accident, everything came flooding back. And I don't think I can ever become normal. And that's why he's obsessed with getting into a romantic relationship with a girl. Because he feels like this would be able to make him normal again. Is if he can be around women without freaking out. And again, this is like something that I completely understand. Not necessarily like the women aspect, but in the like aspect of like you do so well, or maybe you do something that should be really nerve-wracking, but you get through it, and then you think, oh, maybe I'm cured. Maybe I'm okay now. And then you get put into another situation, and it's like, nope, you're not. You're not. And just that whole feeling of wanting to be normal and not feeling like you are normal. And yeah, that's basically something that I completely relate to as someone who deals with anxiety. Like, of course, my situation is completely different than his, but I can just relate on that anxiety, trying to be normal, trying to fit in, but not doing so. Taking your small accomplishments and thinking, oh, maybe this is it. Maybe I'm cured now, but then realizing that you're actually not. Like, this all stuff that I can relate to. So maybe that's why this series kind of works with me a lot. It's because I can sympathize with the main character on a personal level. But eventually this becomes a series where Kaede starts, he decides to take the plunge and call Tsubasa and start hanging out with her. And then eventually they start dating. And then we get the whole aspect of that and the drama from that. Because, again, Kaede, he has fear of women being near him. So it's like, okay, how is he going to date this girl when he can't have her near him? He can't have her touch him in any way, like not even to hold hands or anything like that. How is he going to get through this? And how long is he going to hide his tragic past from her? Thankfully, this isn't one of those series that it actually drags that out for so long. Eventually, she starts realizing, like, hey, you seem to be uncomfortable around me. Is there something that I've done? And he just straight up tells her, no, like, here's what happened to me. And then the drama switches to her, and how does she deal with that? How does she deal with the fact that this guy that she started dating, she originally started dating him because she thought he was pure. She thought that like he was someone that, because the way she grew up in a household that found sexuality to be something that's disgusting. Like basically any time when like women with bikinis came on TV, her mom would be like, this is so disgusting, and like switch the channel. So Kaede kind of sees sex and sexual acts as disgusting. So when she finds out that her boyfriend is no longer a virgin, how does that affect her? that becomes a whole situation. And basically, it just becomes this thing where every chapter kind of leaves you feeling like, oh no, like when's the other shoe gonna drop? And a thing that I like about it is that it doesn't go the cliche route. Like there are moments where Kaede is going to get like a private tutor, and you think, oh, the private tutor is going to end up being the teacher, or Kaede is going to meet Subasa's mom, and you're like, oh, Subasa's mom is going to end up being the teacher that attacked him, and it never does that. It never falls into the cliche that like other series have done before. And I think it actually kind of treats, for the most part, it kind of treats the situation kind of realistically. There was one chapter, I'm not going to spoil it, but there was one chapter where I'm kind of like, I don't feel like this one, maybe it was lost in translation, but something here doesn't feel right. It doesn't seem believable in a certain aspect. But they kind of fixed it later on in later chapters. So I will just say that, yeah, this is an interesting series. I'm someone that as soon as I see the SV tag, I pretty much tend to drop the series or just not even pick it up from the get-go. There are very, very, very few instances where I'll continue reading just because that kind of subject matter is something that it always just bothered me. And like anytime when I'm one of those people where like if someone recommends me a movie, the very first thing I do is I go to the parental guides and then I go to see if there's any assaults of a sexual nature in the movie. And if there is, then I tend to not watch that movie. It's just a subject matter I can't really deal with. But surprisingly, I've been able to get through this and actually enjoy this. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, like, how it handles the subject matter. Like, it doesn't glorify it in any way. The flashback scenes are not overly graphic. Like, they show enough so that you get the point, but they don't show it in a, like, sexual or a hentai-ish kind of way that a lot of other series would do. Like, I've read a lot of isekai series and a lot of trash isekai series, and there have been scenes where that subject matter, the SV tag, pops up, and the scenes are basically kind of like straight up hentai. They're as close to hentai as you can get without... Well, I would even say that they are hentai, but for some reason they're not classified as hentai. And this series does not do that whatsoever. It very much portrays the scene itself as something horrible. And it doesn't go into explicit detail. It shows you enough so that you know what's happening, and that's it. It doesn't glorify the situation in any way or sexualize it in any way or pretty it up in any way. And I like that a lot. And I also think it also helps that the way the characters deal with the aftermath of what happened. Not just Kaede, but also his friends and stuff. So, for example, again, I've read some trash isekai series. And whenever scenes like that happen, it's just done as a way to either make a villain look more villainous. Like, it's just like hammering home the fact that, okay, this person is evil. Or it's just done as a way to just create some drama because the writer doesn't know any other way to give us drama other than to have that situation happen. And it's like the characters forget about it almost immediately afterwards. It's like, oh, this character is a victim of an SV. And then, a few pages later, it's completely forgotten about and we just move on with the story. We don't get that here at all. This entire series is about our character trying to deal with the fact that he's a victim. And how he's trying to move on with his life. He's trying to get into the dating scene. Not necessarily because he wants a girl, even though I guess he kind of does, but because he believes that that will make him normal. And that's what his true goal is. His true goal is to become normal because he doesn't feel like he's normal. He feels like he's dirtied. He feels like he's been broken. He feels that he's unclean, that he's abnormal, that there's something wrong with him. And the only way to fix that is to do what other regular boys his age do, and that's to, date girls and be okay with them being around. And so he's struggling to do that after having something horrific happen to him. And just the way it's portrayed and the way he acts and all that stuff, it's very well done. I like that they're taking this very, very serious situation with the main character and they're not making it lighthearted. Like, this is a slice of life series about this kid who was assaulted in a way that no one should ever be assaulted. And now he's trying to get back into the dating scene because he wants to become normal. And so it's all the troubles that he finds himself in because of his personal demons that have been born because of this tragic event that happened to him. And I just think it's done in a very respectful manner. So yeah, I'm just kind of rambling at this point, but there's Sensitive Boy. I recommend checking it out. If you're interested in slice of life dramas, this is a drama. While there are some like lighthearted moments, it's mostly a drama. It's not one of those where like you're gonna feel good by the time you finish a chapter, but you're not gonna feel like a piece of crap either. It's kind of heavy. I mean, obviously, it's a heavy subject matter, and unlike other mangas that might have this subject matter in it, this isn't taken as like, oh, we're just gonna have this just to amplify the drama for this character, or we're just gonna play it off as laughs, or we're just doing this just to show how evil the villains are. No, this is like taken very seriously. It's like, okay, this main character has this happen to him. How is he gonna deal with that? What's the fallout? And let's try to portray this in a realistic manner. And I think they accomplished that for the most part. So yeah, I recommend checking it out. I'll leave a link to where you can read it in the description below, like always. But I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell for a notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.